Hey guys, Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans, and you have stumbled on the channel. It's called Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. Again, I'm Kevin with Element Home Loans. I've got a very important guest with me today. Been waiting to get this guy on our show for, I don't know, weeks, months, maybe. Frank Trimble, how are you, sir?
Great. It wasn't your fault that it took this long. So,
Yeah, we both have traveled some. I think you went to a big event, and what was it, Austin?
yeah, Austin, Texas. Keller Williams has it's called Mega Agent Camp, and I like to say we make the pilgrimage out there and kiss the ring. You know, I wish they would do it in October and not August, but
Yeah, there's nothing like going to Texas in August.
no.
I was born and raised there. Spent the first 31 years of my life in the Dallas area. I've been in Chattanooga now 31 years.
Yeah.
So Frank, tell us about. Here's what's more important to me. Okay, I mean you've been a realtor since what, 2007?
I was licensed in I think it was September 2007, and I started my first real estate job was in 2008.
Great time to get in the business then.
I know, right? What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing at all.
Oh,
Uh, so I have been in this crazy mortgage industry now. I'm in my 24th year, um, but that's secondary. First, who is Frank Trimble? Give us a 2 minute snapshot of Frank and family and who you are.
local kid. Grew up here in Chattanooga. My whole family grew up here in Chattanooga. My grandfather was the first one to live here, and then ever since then everybody's grown up here. So lifelong resident. Um, my family was in the insurance business. We had a small insurance agency, and I had three older brothers, and they all went to work in the insurance agency for a time. And I had an older sister, and she decided to go do bigger and better things. And I was in college, and I asked Dad. I said, "Well, I mean, how old do you have to be to get your insurance license?" He said 19. I said, "Okay, I'll go get I'll go get my license." And so I did, and I went from just being a normal insurance agent writing high risk auto and then homeowners and auto insurance to writing commercial insurance primarily. So for the last, let's see, that was a 22-year career.
Wow.
I would say for at least 15 of it, maybe 16 or 17 years of that career was all basically commercial insurance.
And you said your dad was in it. You went to work with your father.
Yeah, so by then it was my dad, my oldest brother, and my youngest oldest brother. So two brothers, and I had another brother go off to medical school, and then my sister she started in Nashville and then she moved to New York, but she was selling exhibit booths for like starter athletics. And, we go to an exhibit show, we get a little $300 booth. Well, she was
Right.
selling $500,000 booths for,
Wow.
yeah, it was,
What's funny, and I'm full transparency here. Frank and I have never met. This is the first time we've actually met face to face like this.
right.
Frank, I worked for my father for 19 years, 6 weeks. No, 19 years, 8 months, 3 weeks, and 6 hours. I'm not counting. Um, and what that's amazing because my second son went to work for me 2 years ago. Worked at Unum for 16 years right out of college, and went to work for me 2 years ago. And as a father, I love coming in and working with my son every single day. It's so rewarding. Um, so yeah, family business. I mean, I had a 20-year history with my father. My father, my brother, my sister, my brother-in-law, they're still in it. My dad's 85 years old and still doing what he was doing.
Wow.
Uh, and I'm the black sheep that left the family business.
Well, I ended up, yeah. So we merged with another insurance. We were Arch Trimble Insurance. We merged with Headers, which was Huffaker, and we formed Huffaker Trimble. And then BB&T Bank decided they wanted us, and so we cut a deal with BB&T, and then it became BB&T Huffaker and Trimble. And I did about 2 years under that regime, and decided that I didn't like working for a bank. I
There you
just
go.
didn't like it. I didn't have the authority to, was looking for one, but I didn't have the authority to order a paperclip. I went from a sales management, producing role to just, selling. And then all of a sudden I didn't have any ownership in it. it just wasn't fun anymore.
No, no.
And this real estate thing goes back to, as a kid, I would pour through the newspaper looking at the real estate sales. Back when we had a newspaper,
Right.
and it was something. I was addicted to it. And then I would stop at you remember when they had the little kiosk, and you go get the real estate magazine out of it and flip through it. I was just fascinated with it, and all the top producers. I'd see them in the newspaper, and I thought, man, that'd be really cool. And so I asked Dad one day. I said, hey, how come we don't do a real estate agency to go with our insurance agency? Seems like that's a win-win. And he's old retired Marine colonel, and he just like, I don't know anything about real estate.
Yeah.
So that's where that died. I never could get out of my head. When we bought our first house and our second one, and we made some good real estate investments. And again, I just wasn't happy working for the bank, and so I retired from that industry in my early 40s.
Fantastic.
So gave up. By then you're in the corporate world, so then stock options, gave up benefits, all that, and I even let my license go. That I'm not having any crutches. I'm just gonna go.
Just going.
Failure's not an option.
You know what? I truly believe that that's the only way to do things. I mean, just go all in. I mean, I lost a bet. That's how I got in the mortgage business. It's actually how I moved from Texas to Tennessee, but I can't imagine doing anything else, Frank. I really can't. I mean, I told you I'm 62 years old. As long as I can think and talk, I'm going to keep doing what we do, because there's something about being able to help people buy homes.
Yeah.
And it's just an incredible. I never get tired of that conversation. You're approved.
Yeah.
Are clear to close. We got a loan that's closing this next Friday that the man called. He's in his 40s, has never owned a home. His family had never owned a home, and he was scared to death to do the application. And we walked him through the process, and he literally had tears in his eyes, because he's actually going to be about a home. He's got two 20-year-olds still living at home with him, and this man is so excited. I don't get tired of that. I just don't get tired of that. It's an incredible feeling.
It is.
So tell us about your team.
So the team is, I did this solo for a number of years, and 7 years ago, I was talking to my peers about, I think it's time to start a team. I can't go on vacation. When I go on vacation, everybody wants to buy a house, and so that creates a whole bunch of stress with myself and my wife. And she had actually joined me by then. I told her, I said, when I'm able to make as much money as I did in insurance, she was like, that's when I'm out of here. And I'm like, okay, deal.
That's right.
So it happened, and then she started cleaning up the books. That was painful, real painful. But thank God for her. If it wasn't for her, I'd be penniless, face down in a gutter, alone, broke, bankrupt. So she's a force of nature. Her name's Cheryl, and she's, by the way, our director of operations.
Okay, very good.
So after, gosh, that would have been about 7 years into my career, and a young lady named Aubrey LaRue, who's on my team now, was looking at joining a team, and somebody referred her to me, and she came, and we sat and we talked, and she goes, well, so what do you think? And I'm like, sounds pretty good. And she goes, okay, well, I'll be here tomorrow. And I went, great. So the story is, she hired herself, and she'll tell you.
And still with you.
She's still with us 7 years later. She's a force of nature. She had, she's not from here. She's from Stuart, Florida. She came up here for another job that just wasn't working out, and then, but it was in the real estate industry, but more leasing. And then she decided to, try her hand at this, and it was so natural. When she came to the office, I had a whole bunch of people ready to roll, buyers ready to roll, and I needed help. And I mean, she just went at, she shot first, asked questions later. But she, she'd been around leasing contracts, so she knew, she wasn't stupid. She's not stupid at all. She's very smart. She got Rookie of the Year her first year, produced $5.56 million her very first year in business.
Wow.
A Chattanooga native. And, home prices back then were a lot less than they are now. and we had 3,000 houses on the market to sell, not 1,600 like we do right now.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
A whole
So
different market.
yeah.
And what's funny about that, what works today or what worked last week and last month and last year and 3 years ago doesn't work today. I mean,
No.
we have to do things different to stay abreast. So that being said, because this market is changing. I mean, we've both been in it a long time, and I've seen the ups and the downs. I've seen the implosion. I've seen it all. Sherry and I bought our first home in 1980, so
Mm-hmm.
we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
What was your
what
interest rate in 1980?
18%? 18%. Our first home was 18%.
Mine was 9.
Of course, I will tell you. I mean, it was the purchase price was 27,000 too.
Wow.
But 2 years later, our second home was 69,000,
Yeah.
and it was I think 12 or 13 still at that point. And I'm not going to get into politics at all.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast that I'm not capable of doing. So you and your team are in the top 5 or 6 of all of Chattanooga realtors. Okay, what do you attribute your success to? What makes you tick? Why? Where do you get your business?
I am 95% repeat referral. I spend by the way, I now have more than just Aubrey on the team. I have Adam Reeves. He's a local resident. He's finishing his second year on the team. We have Erica Warnack. She's local. She's coming up on her second anniversary. We have Robert Bell, who is from the Cookeville area. He's super young, very, very dedicated. And then we have Allison Maris. She just moved here, relocated here from Milwaukee, and she was a rock star up there. And we're so excited to have her on the team. And she's already closed one and got 3 more pending. And she's been here a month.
Come on.
Yeah, not terrible.
Not terrible. Not terrible at all.
But I basically stick with my sphere.
Okay.
My sphere of influence. And if somebody from my sphere says, okay, I want you to help my son, or I want you to help my best friend, I do that. But if it's a sign call, as we call it, or if it's a lead that's coming in over the internet, or however that generally gets pushed out to the team, I want them to succeed. I want them to have a great life, a big life, and
right.
Whatever their dreams are, I want them to achieve that. And I promote the team over me as much as possible. I think they are so important. We wouldn't be, and actually right now, I looked it up before our call. We're number 11 right now. So
11 right now. Okay.
11.
All right. So, and you see the same numbers I see. You see the same stats I see.
Yeah.
National Association of Realtors, there's a survey at closing. 88% of people will say, I will use the same lender and the same realtor again.
Yep.
You know what the real number is? You know what it turns out to be?
I have no idea.
12 to 17%. Okay.
Really?
12 to 17%. And I will tell you, we call it's our plan. I mean, and when you come to my office one day, you'll see our board, and it's not a war board. It's not customers. It's what we do on a daily basis. My database, about 25% of my database, about 25% of my business is repeat business after 23, 24 years. And yeah, we're both old enough to get kids from people that we put their parents in homes now.
Yeah.
It's very, very rewarding. But our database is so important as far as contacting them. And I call my database 4 times a year. Every quarter, I call every single one of them. And it's a tune of 60 to 75 calls a day. 75 calls a week that I have to make to maintain that quarterly basis. But it keeps my database fresh. I know where every lead came from. I know the referrals that we give back to our realtor partners has been incredible. But your success, if you're talking about your sphere, that's what it's about. That it's so important to take care of those. Those people are the ones who we know they love us and they trust us.
Yeah.
So that's so important. That's fantastic, sir.
When when I got into this business, my dad, who's still living, he's 95. When I got into this business, he was like, "Well, you don't get renewals," and I went, I know." And he goes, "Well, I hope you negotiated a good salary." And I said, "There's no salary. Other Williams didn't pay me anything."
That's right. That's right.
That's not how it works, Dad. But we'll talk about that later, Dad. 2 years after my first sale, all of a sudden I realized, oh, you do get referrals. People move up, they move out, they move away, they have a friend, they have a family member, whatever it is absolutely a referral business. Or insurance term was renewals.
Right.
But you do get, quote, renewals, in my opinion, if you do a good job and if you stay in contact with your database, which is what we do.
That's
We have, it's in Keller Williams land, it's called a 36 touch, and we try to reach out to our database 36 times a year. And that's phone calls, emails, texts. We do client event parties. We do 2 of those a year, sometimes 3, just depends on the year. COVID, we did none a year.
right.
But we would send out gifts. We like to dote over the people that we call them our frequent flyers. We like to dote over those people because if it wasn't for them, we couldn't live the life we live.
Well, sir, that's fantastic. Congratulations on doing a great job. Thank you for being a part of this. What's the best way for people to find you and your team?
There's several ways. TrimbleHomesteam.com on the internet, of course. Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Frank Trimble. Obviously, we have a team page. It's Trimble Homes Team on Facebook, Trimble Homes Team on Instagram, and Frank Trimble Homes is my personal Instagram page.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Do you have a hotline? Do you have a number or that you want to put out?
My personal cell is 423-240-2572. Our team phone is 423-567-5454.
Fantastic. And again, I'm Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans. Our website is kevinblairteam.com. Our number is 423-488-7571. If you like this kind of information, hit like, hit subscribe. If you want more information about me and my team, you can go to the About page, click on a link, fill out a short form, and I personally will call you. Frank, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. Keep rocking. Keep hitting it.
We're shooting for number 1.
Let's make it happen. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.